results seem far less than the effort and the work that you've put in, this conversation is for you. Sometimes you're showing up, you're doing the work, you're going because winners never quit and quitters never win. You're improving, you're planting, but sometimes the results do not add up. Sometimes the growth is just slower than what we think and what we anticipate. And this is very important for us as entrepreneurs because we need to understand this is how life generally works and this is how seasons work. And what we normally do is we look at other people and we are comparing ourselves to people's fruits whilst we're still at the root, and we can get discouraged. This thing can work at our confidence and it can gnaw at it, eat at it until we get to the point where we feel like, is this worth it? Am I good enough? Can I do this? And we end up quitting or changing direction sooner than what we should have done. So I think this conversation is important, and let's dive in. I'm looking forward to the comments on the chat as we engage on this topic, Fab. And some of the questions that you'll find yourself asking: am I behind? Am I wasting my time? Is this really working? Should I stop it? Am I good enough? And be of good courage. A lot of us as entrepreneurs have gone through it. And a lot of people operating at high levels are also going through some of these things. And sometimes it's called imposter syndrome. Sometimes it's just comparison. But at some point in your life, you will go through this. But the one message that I want to instill today is that slow growth does not always mean that there is no growth. A lot of growth is invisible. And when I talk about slow growth eating at your confidence, this happens when you compare yourself to people's highlights. So we live in the world of social media. We are actually watching this on the internet right now, and we're like, yay, I'm seeing Thembi doing so well, or I'm seeing this person doing well, and you look at your life. And what I want to caution around that comparison is that on social media, everybody is putting their best foot forward. Yes, some people put their flaws. Yes, some people put their bad day or their vlogs about what hasn't gone well. But at the end of the day, social media is marketing. Social media is branding. Social media is showing your life. So not everybody is sharing the rumble that's going on under the surface. So as an entrepreneur, think about it to say, when you're comparing yourself to other people, sometimes you are comparing yourself with other people's fruit whilst you are still at the root. So be careful of comparing yourself with other people's fruit whilst you are still at the root. And this can make you abandon things early. You can keep changing direction. You can keep discounting your progress because your confidence is being eaten at. So above all else, guard your heart. That's what Solomon says. And as you go on this journey, you are going to have to guard your heart. Guard your heart, guard your confidence, because it does eat at you. Hey, there's nothing as uncomfortable as ubona umafikizolo ukuthi haphayi bona sebephezulu. And I've been at this. And just to share an example of this used to eat at me because I used to wonder, before I understood things like venture capital, I understood things like investments, like before I studied Silicon Valley, it used to eat at me to be like, come on, man, how can this company that came in yesterday, they now have so much equipment, they've got offices, go Santin, they've got such heavy hitters on their employees, like they've got management, and you're just like, but these guys are just starting up by tata p imali. And that's the caution to say, you don't know what's going on under people's behind closed doors. You don't know if they've got an investor. Maybe you don't. You don't know what funding they have. You don't know that these employees on their websites, it's just friends. So be like, hey, chief of marketing, it's somebody who knows them, who's supporting their vision, CIO, and all these cool boards that you see. It's them tapping into their network. So all I'm saying is that it is dangerous to compare yourself during your slow growth season to other people, because you do not know what resources, what network, and what advantage they have. So what you do in this season is you look at yourself, focus on your growth and what you can put together to keep moving forward. So slow growth, during the slow growth time, is you need to be building something real, and you need to be evaluating your progress and growth. So some things that we just need to think about is some growth is invisible. We talk about this a lot. I like the building analogy. Depending on what you're building, if you're building a camping tent, sometimes it's easy. You pull up this thing, you don't even build a foundation. You knock the hammer and the pins to the ground, you tie your tent to the ground, and you've built that. And when you're building a house, you actually, with bricks and mortar, you actually dig. You dig your foundation, you put in whatever's put in to make the foundation solid, a lot of concrete, and then you build the walls of the house. But the foundation carries the weight of the house. So the shallow your foundation, it determines how far and how big the building can be. And if we see these skyscrapers that we see in city centers, we see them like some cool buildings we see internationally. When they're building those buildings, there's a plan. There are deep roots, deep foundations that are dug. And when you think about your slow season, think about those foundations. To say, when you're building foundations, you can't see those foundations in the beginning. You are digging, but you know that if you make your foundations solid, you will be able to carry more weight in the visible things that people appreciate. So not all growth is visible. So people want to see more sales, bigger clients, better numbers, more followers. I know people are always like, I'm doing so much on social media, but I don't have the following. You're digging foundations, better opportunities. People want to see a team and a stronger brand. But before that growth can be visible, you need to work on your foundations. You need to become clear in your messaging. You need to learn more about your customer. What is your customer like? What do they find valuable? Sometimes there's a misalignment between what we think our customers want and what is there in reality. And sometimes in these slow seasons, when we are trying things, we need to improve our pricing. Sometimes we're too high for the value that we are delivering for the clients, because I will keep saying that there's nothing such as high pricing. It's the price is always high compared to the value. Sometimes we're too low. And when customers are looking at this, like, what's the catch? What am I not getting? And sometimes in these slow seasons, it's invisible. We are building our confidence. A lot of people, when they start up entrepreneurship, the confidence is low. So you need to be starting small things, getting a customer, getting a referral, delivering, evaluating your delivery. Was this good enough? Can I improve? What can we focus on to make this better? You're fixing your process as well, and you're just understanding your business better. So what I want to say here is, before you grow, your business grows visibly, you as the founder and the leader must grow quietly. I'll say that again. Before your business can grow visibly, you as the leader and founder need to grow quietly in your skills, quietly in your leadership, and quietly in your building capabilities. And with that, roots are not exciting to look at, but without roots, our fruit cannot last in business. So For you, as we engage on the chat, what are the things that you've seen that they are visible, they are invisible growth that you have been experiencing? And something I also just want to highlight is that slow does not mean wrong. I'll say it again. Slow does not always mean wrong. Sometimes when you're slow, you're still learning the market, you're still building trust. You need to build trust with your customers, and trust does take time, and it does wear at you. But you're asking people to give you their value. So people need to understand, who are you? Can they trust you? Can you deliver? Are you bringing to the table what you say you're going to bring to the table? And sometimes your audience is still warming up. There's this thing of, people need to see you. The more they see you, the more they trust you. So people are still warming up. And sometimes your offer is not clear. And those are the things that are happening underneath the surface. And sometimes you're still also just building your system. So your reputation is also developing. What I'm saying is that slow does not always mean no growth. Things are happening in the background. So make sure that you're focused, that things are happening in the background as you build. And let's also be honest here to say, slow also can mean that there are things that you need to focus on and actually do and move things forward. So sometimes there are things that we need to be doing in our slow season, or the things that we just need to be doing as entrepreneurs, and we are flat out avoiding those things. And that, for me, is something that we need to reflect on with maturity. As I've said, is that slow is not always wrong, but in the slowness, we need to balance it with honesty, to be like, am I doing what I need to be doing? Are there things that I need to be changing that I'm not changing, that I'm avoiding? And I call this leading with wisdom, or seeing with wisdom, because it's quite a tension, because there's that angst of like, what do I change? Am I wasting my time? But sometimes it's that pure reflection of, am I doing what I need to be doing? So sometimes, as I keep saying, offers unclear, people are not sure, what am I paying for? Sometimes the marketing is completely off. When people are looking at your post, they're like, oh, not good enough, or your marketing is not clear. Sometimes the marketing is not consistent enough. It's not enough marketing, pricing. So these are the things that you must be looking at honestly, reflecting with yourself. The biggest thing you can do for yourself as an entrepreneur is be totally and brutally honest with yourself. I like the concept of extreme ownership, where you take accountability for your actions. As people, as humans, we love blaming the environment, we love blaming external factors, and definitely external factors have things to play. But there's something, and there's an honesty that we need to give ourselves as people, and give ourselves as entrepreneurs, to be like, okay, cool, sales are bad. One way would be the environment or the economy is tight. There's war, there's less spending, fuel prices are high, people don't have as much disposable income. And that narrative is definitely true. But if you keep at that narrative, what can you do? What's your role in this? Sometimes you're just not strong at sales. You're not strong at marketing. You're not strong at following up. Sometimes there are holes in your delivery where customers now end up leaving your service because of the hole in your delivery. So yes, the truth stands that the economy is tight, and that people have less disposable income. But the question still is, what can you as the entrepreneur own in this equation? Because there's always something that we can own, and this always something in our control. There's a saying that the one person, you can't change the whole world, but you can change yourself. And in the slow season, for me, it is a time of reflection of, how do I get good and resolute and focused on some of these things that can get washed away during busy seasons. So patience is not the same thing as ignoring evidence. Do not ignore evidence of things that you need to change, things that you need to improve as an entrepreneur. And as we chat around slow growth, sometimes we are waiting for growth for big things, but there's some growth that is not always monetary value. So there are things that we need to look at, and those can be our motivating factors in terms of our growth. To be like, how do you motivate yourself? How do you measure growth outside of just monetary value? So there's some signs of progress that we can focus on. And some of these signs are people are starting to understand what you do. Hey, people are now understanding, oh, this is what you meant when you said you're opening such a company. Sometimes you're getting better inquiries. Hey, inquiries used to be fewer. Now you've got more. And sometimes you're getting better leads. Sometimes we bash ourselves at the numbers to be like, I'm not getting as many people. I'm not getting as many views. I don't have as many followers. But what does it help you to have thousands of followers but no customers? I forget this lady's name. She was on a panel and she was just saying that for her, followers must translate to value. So sometimes you're getting better inquiries from the better leads that you have. So that can be progress for you. Sometimes customers are asking better questions. Now you're seeing that you're getting closer and warmer to your ideal customers. People are referring you. Referrals are the best marketing, because once you are dealing with a referral, you are leveraging the trust of the referrer. So let me explain. So I trust my mom. My mom gave birth to me. She fed me. I am this year old because I love my mom and my mom's had my back. So if my mom says, hey, I met this lady, she is the best hairdresser, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, her social media is on point. I love her consultancy. The way she thinks is so strategic. When when I'm hearing this from my mom, there's a level of trust that I have in her, that I have from her judgment. And then that engagement with the supplier, with that lady. So if I'm looking for a strategist, for a marketing strategist, and my mom, who I trust in that department, says that, hey, she's good, that supplier already has my trust because they are leveraging from my mom's trust. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a referral, don't play games, because that customer is an easier customer to land because you are now leveraging the trust of someone else who they trust. So referrals are big. So some of the growth that can be happening that doesn't feel as much as referrals. Sometimes you are just even quoting faster. You are making fewer mistakes. It may not feel like, hey, I'm growing at blist or lightning speed, but fewer mistakes. That is growth. And sometimes you just becoming clearer and improving. So not all growth is profits first, but some growth, it's clarity and it's being better at your business. I've already spoken about this, to be like, comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison can steal your vision as well. You see people's launches, you see people talking about big clients, big invoices. And as I've said, there are some things in the backgrounds that you do not know. So yes, let's use other people's stories as inspiration. Let's use them to see what is out there. What can we achieve by seeing other people do it? Because people are role models. People are doing some cool things out there. And I've got some pretty intense role models out there, and I'm always celebrating their success. But there are things that you don't see. Someone says, or it's a famous saying that says that it takes years to become an overnight success. Let me say it again. It takes years to become an overnight success. So here I am, working away, intense, late nights, putting my things together. I want to become an overnight success. I want my business to become an overnight success. And I'm seeing other people become overnight successes, but I don't know their journey. So there's years, there's time behind their journeys. They've got failed attempts. There are failed attempts that I don't know about. I also have failed attempts that you won't know about. I'll be sharing things that have worked for me. Maybe I should make a video about things that have not worked for me. But as humans, we generally don't share that information. Sometimes we don't see the debt. Let me drink some tea on that one. A lot of businesses, a lot of people are in debt. They are shining. You're asking yourself how they're doing it. Whoa, what am I missing out on? But sometimes we don't know the debt. Sometimes we don't know the investments. Sometimes we don't know their network, people who are connecting them to the opportunities. And sometimes we don't know the quiet sacrifices the people we are comparing ourselves to are making, because they are not sharing everything. Sometimes we do not see the mistakes. Sometimes we do not see slow months. I'm in the events industry. I like working with artists, and a lot of us see artists. A lot of us see people on our TV screens. We're expecting them to have money. We're expecting them to be like, whoa, they've made it way better than us. And sometimes you don't see the slow months where things are banging during a certain season, and things are quiet during a certain season, and the people just keep their head down and keep things moving, and social media is glorious and shining. What I'm saying is, do not compare your roots with somebody else's fruits. There are things that are happening in the background quietly. So work through your quiet, work through your background as you grow and improve yourself during the quiet season. And let me go to the chats to see if you've got any comments. So Nana, you're saying is, you're right. A foundation is everything in business. Growth built on strong systems and clear values tend to last. I've also come to realize that staying in your own lane is just as important, because every business has its own timing, challenges, and definition of success. Comparing yourself to others can distract you from building what truly works for your business. And then I'm gonna put that line in quotes. I like what you say on your last sentence, and saying that comparing yourself to others can distract you from building what truly works for your business. And as we continue on this trajectory, I want to encourage you to say, do not waste slow seasons. Slow seasons, it's where you need to be building muscle, building your capability. Slow seasons offer you chances to grow when no one is watching, so that when the world is looking at you, they can see what you've built and the muscle that you've built through the time. So during slow season, improve your offer, improve your service, improve the value that you are positioning to your customer. Sometimes things that we feel are valuable are not as valuable to our customers. So let us use slow seasons to improve our value to our customers. So also clean up your admin, clean up your delivery processes, make yourself improve, make yourself better, so that when the flood comes, you are ready, you are grown, and things are just way better. Get in touch with old leads. Hey, how are you? Is there anything we can help with? You'd be surprised that some people still need your services. There's a rule, I think it's a rule of 10, 10, 10. And everything is a numbers game. If you are struggling, just always think sales is a numbers game. So think of it, for every 100 touch points, I'm not talking just about posts like for 100 people. I mean, like for 100 people that who you've truly engaged. Out of 100 people see your marketing and are interested, 10 will reach out. And out of those 10 who reach out and maybe they become a conversation, only probably one person will convert to a sale. So that's just a general rule in the startup world of 10, 10, 10. So please reach out, ask customers for feedback, and get yourself better, engage with your customers because they are actually the ones who give you money. Document your process. I talk a lot about standard operating procedures and how you can build business to outlast you, and start understanding your numbers and getting better. So if growth is slow, don't wait. Build yourself whilst you wait. Checking the comments, Skylar says, when business feels heavy and slow, how do you differentiate between needing a genuine break and just letting fear take over? How do you differentiate between needing a genuine break and just letting fear take over? So, a genuine break and fear. So let's start addressing fear. So how I think of fear is a natural warning mechanism. We are humans. We are built to survive. We are wired so that we always keep surviving. So how do you determine it? So think of the story that you tell yourself. So if you're telling yourself that I'm not good enough, or the things are not fine for me, and it's negative stories that you can't back it up with facts, that could be just letting fear take over. When you looking at it, do I need a genuine break? What facts can you see that you need a break? If you're looking at let's say your sleep patterns, to be like, okay, I've been working nonstop, I haven't had rest, so now that's impacting my performance. I need a genuine break. So you can actually point to solid things to be like, okay, I've been working so much, or I've got such a load, or this one issue or one aspect of my life needs attention at this moment, that I need to slow down and take a break. So to summarize, I'm saying that if you want to differentiate between a genuine need for a pivot or a change or a break, or versus stories in your head versus fear versus insecurity, for me, it will boil down to what are the facts of the matter, and what are the facts that you are looking at besides the emotional, or the emotional or the subconscious. What are the facts? Are you directing your energy to something else? Are you resting, or you're just saying "Zolung"? But if we tell Uzolunga, what will be the mark of Uzolunga for you? So, Skylar, I hope that answered your question. If it hasn't, please engage, and happy to answer that again. So, another thing I want to leave you with is there's a difference between a season of planting, building roots, and also avoiding. During slow season, do not avoid things that you need to change in your business, things that you need to address. And I've had to learn this the hard way, and I'll speak around sales, right? Sometimes we fear the rejection from customers. And when we fear the rejection, we feel sad. And then you're just like, now you don't want to approach customers. You're like, oh, it's slow. I'm in my slow season. If you're avoiding sales, it is not slow season. You are just avoiding sales. Sometimes we are avoiding difficult conversations with our stakeholders, difficult conversations with our staff, difficult conversations with our suppliers. It's hard. Don't confuse slowness with avoidance. And you know when you're avoiding things. And as humans, we're pretty cool at making excuses for ourselves, making excuses. We're like, I don't want to upset. I don't want to upset people. I don't want to step on any toes. Or there are many things like even following up. I don't want to be a nuisance. There are things that we'll tell ourselves. Sometimes we'll tell ourselves that we need new things, new gadgets. Yo, I'm such a, let me look for a nice word, but I'm so guilty. I'm so guilty at this, where I need to start something, I need to do something. I'm like, no, man, I need this software. Oh, no, I need this device. Oh, no, I need this person on my team. Sometimes you are confusing slowness with you avoiding to do hard things. Let me encourage you. It generally gets easier with time, but this journey that you're taking of doing business and putting yourself out there is hard by its nature. So it's going to be hard. And the cool thing is that I'll encourage you is not a lot of people do hard things. So if you stick out the hard and you learn what you need to learn in that season, even though you close this business down, even though you move to a different industry altogether, you become a better person. And the skills that you have amassed, you can use them in different spheres. So I'm a church girl. I grew up in church, and for me, one of the things I've seen is that there's a lot of leadership skills, especially like, you're in the youth committee, then you are organizing a concert, then you're organizing something. Those are skills that I learned during that time when I was practicing. Some of us were doing things at school. We'd do market days, we'd be part of a sports club. Those are skills. So what I'm saying is that during slow seasons, you are building yourself. And wherever you go, there you are. You have learned the skill, and you can use the skill everywhere to go. And not a lot of people like doing hard things. So if you keep at the hard things and get better, and you can see yourself getting better, you'll be far ahead of other people, and you will see your progress compared to other people. So what am I saying? That as you are building, as you are growing, do hard things. When things feel hard, go in with a strategy. Start with a plan to be like, hey, I'm going to try 1, 2, 3, do it. Most probably, guess what? You're going to fail. Try again. Keep going at it. Learn from people. Listen to people who have done something before. And I'm not just talking about people who just keep talking. Look at their results. Try, fail, and sooner or later, you will get it. So do hard. The more you do hard, the better you will become. And you will be better than 80% of the people, because you have chosen to do hard and you have stuck to the hard. And as we're about to land tonight, I want to leave you with a few questions, a few slow growth chicken questions that you can reflect on during this week. So, as I pull up the questions. First one is, what is growing even if it's not obvious for you yet? Slow seasons, sometimes we want to measure visible things. We want to measure fruits. We want to measure sales. We want to measure big clients. We want to measure material growth. But what are things that are growing in your life during this slow season? Is it your confidence? Is it your understanding of customers? Is it your consistency? Is it your quality? What can you point at to encourage yourself to say, are you growing in this slow season? And another thing that I want to ask is that what evidence do you have of things that are working and things that are not working that you know that you need to change? So look at the evidence. Look at, if I'm saying things are slow, am I putting out as much marketing? Am I working on sales? Am I working on my lead? What evidence do you give yourself to say things are slow because of external factors? I've done what I need to do, and I'm just waiting on external things to work. So Look at the evidence, give yourself tangible evidence and not things that you're just feeling. And thirdly, I want to ask, what needs to change? There are things we are not perfect as people, and we always need to be improving our game. So, what can you change? What can you improve? Sometimes it's not about improving a lot of things. I'm also now learning the power of focus. So, what needs to change in the season that you are in to go and get to the place that you want to be? And lastly, then, what will you do this week? This one thing that you will do to like, after this reflection, I am prepared to do this one thing, to make this one change, or make this one commitment to be like, I will still be resolute in doing this to achieve my goals. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me tonight on the long game, as I shared that slow growth does not always mean no growth. Sometimes we make the mistake of comparing ourselves. We compare our roots with other people's fruits, and that eats at our confidence, and it can deter and disturb and kill our vision and purpose and what we're trying to do. So, as things are slow and as you are not seeing that growth, take that time to reflect on things that are not visible, but they are improving and they can be of good courage to you. Also, reflect on, is this growth really slow, or is there something I'm avoiding to do? Is there some hard thing that I need to be doing that I'm not doing? And with that said, focus on one thing. What one thing will I be resolute on and keep doing? Or what one thing will I change so that I improve where I want to be and go towards my goal? With that, can I see any comments? Anybody want to share any comments, or that one thing that you've seen as invisible growth in your business? As we check the chats, let me also check TikTok. For any comments. Okay. Cool. So I guess that's it for tonight. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Skylar, for the engagement on the chat. If there's anything that you'd want us to chat about in upcoming future sessions, please drop me a WhatsApp, drop me a DM. Always looking forward to engaging with business people and entrepreneurs as we build our businesses for the long game. So from tonight, just remember that slow growth does not always mean no growth. Do hard. A lot of people don't like doing hard. There are nice slogans to be like the easier the better, or like lazier people make it faster. But there are difficult things that we're going to go through as entrepreneurs, and we need to just live through it, work through it, and grow through it. So as we build our legacies, as we build our businesses, let's do hard. And one day we'll see the fruits of our labors if we keep at it, if we are true in reflection, and if we make our moves and strategies based on evidence and are humble enough to keep growing and keep moving. So with that, I'd love to say peace out, and I will see you next week on The Long Game. Thank you very much for joining me. Peace.